it was the best day ever. And yeah, and then before I left, it was literally not even, it was just supposed to be me, Shauna, and
Shanice.
Shanice. And then I get to her place. And the next thing I know, Shauna's like, well, guess who called me? And I'm like, who? She's like, L called me, and he hardly ever calls me. And I told him, guess who's coming to my house? And he said, I'm on my way and I'm bringing a keyboard. And she's like, okay. And then Darius calls her and she's like, oh, Tracie and Shanice are over. And he's like, I'm on my way. Like, these people had never been in her house. And all of a sudden, we had everybody in her house. And yeah, Elle showed up. We had birthday cakes to celebrate me and Shauna's birthday. She had other food brought in, and we were just like hanging out. I brought my sister's oldest daughter, my niece, Michaela. And yeah, next thing I know, Elle shows up, hooks up his keyboard, and we're all singing together. It was the most surreal and magical experience ever. But and that was literally the first time I actually sang in front of other people, and I don't know how long.
And you know the world was watching.
The and me being oblivious to
But
the
you didn't
fact that
realize that we were all watching.
everyone's gone Instagram live. I'm oblivious to what's happening, like I had been under a rock.
Yeah, it was
And
a magical moment watching, I mean, for me to interview El DeBarge for almost an hour and a half, it was magical, but because I
yeah,
told him how special when he sings, it's almost like he's in the presence of God and because he just gets lost in song, but him
yeah.
singing and everyone joining in, and then you're there looking like a puppy with a headlights on, like, okay, what's going on? Do I sing now?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening right now? I felt like I was 12 years old again. I really did. I just didn't, I couldn't believe what was happening.
Wow.
It was the wildest thing. And then after that, Sean is like, girl, you need to get a real Instagram page.
Oh, is that when you did the official Tracie? Okay.
I did. And I was scared.
Wow.
I was petrified because I told Shauna, I said, nobody cares that I haven't been around. Like, I
Oh,
was
that
like,
was
no one, that was just the way I thought. I was like, no one's gonna get on my Instagram and be like, oh yay, you're back. They're gonna say, oh, that was cute and that was fun. Thanks, guys, and then move on. And she was like, I don't think so. She's like, I don't think you understand just the impact you've had on some people's lives. And I
yeah.
said, I'm not really aware of that.
Mhm.
And even though I've traveled, I've done concerts and people have cried and I've had these experiences and you just go, I'm normal. Like, why are you crying? Like, this is weird. Don't cry. But yeah, so I couldn't wrap my head around that. And so when I did it, and then all of a sudden she's like, girl, you see all these people on your Instagram right now. And I'm like, what are they saying? Are they saying they hate me? And I go away. She's like, no, read it. And I was like, I don't want to read. And everybody was so nice and had the most beautiful things to say that my heart was full. I was overwhelmed. And I think I remember crying reading some of the comments, and I
Wow.
just couldn't believe how, or what people were saying, and that people were actually watching it and in real time and replaying it now,
Yeah.
and then going, where have you been? What's
Yeah.
going on? We're glad you're alive and you're okay and you look well. And when are you going on tour now? And I wasn't ready for it.
Wow.
And then, so yeah, then I started, oh yeah, then Shanice had mentioned to me, she said, I even was trying to find your brothers. And she said, then I even contact Soul and I asked him, like, have you talked to Tracie? And he's like, if you find her, let me know because
Wow.
nobody can find her.
Wow.
And so when she told me that, because we had such a good relationship, that I was like, oh, let me like reach out to him. I think I like liked something on his page, and he was like, she did not just like something and not thing. And then he left me a message, and then yeah, and his phone number, and then we started talking, and he, yeah, his reaction was the same thing. He's like, if anyone needs to know how to get off the grid,
Yeah.
like here, they should call you. You should write a book about how to remove yourself from from the planet, because he's like, nobody does it better. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I do know how to disappear if I have to.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, you went through quite a lot, and it was good that you had your time to rediscover yourself. And you can't do that in a public space. It's impossible, and people aren't ready for an hour, 2 hours of listening. They just want the quick stuff, and like, oh, I was recording undercover albums and stuff, and they think that. Um, but then how did the whole
Yep.
Kennedy Center, D-Nice? I mean, that's taken you're just coming back out of hiding, and you're now performing with D-Nice, who, you know,
Well, yeah, that was wild too. Then I don't remember. I think he realized, well, in this industry, you always have mutual friends.
yeah.
And I think someone who's, might have been, I can't remember who it was, but I think shared that with him, that I was on Instagram. And then he reached out, or they connected us together on Instagram. And he was like, hey, I'm doing this thing for the Kennedy Center, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And I was like, in my head going, that's amazing. But I haven't been on a stage
Wow.
in well over 10 years, that I was like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, in my head,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wasn't sure. I was like, what does that look like? How do I do this? And then I was like, where's there to be, what is, to be afraid of? I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is what I do. Like, get it together, girl, get it together. So yeah, I was like, yes, I'll do it. And then from that was a very tough experience though, too, because I remember having a moment of the day of the performance.
Mm.
I went out there flew to DC, and my sister was going to come, and then she wasn't able to. And so I went there by myself, and I knew
Wow.
Shanice was going to be there. So I was like, okay, at least she's going to be here. I mean, she's family. Um, but I remember the next morning before sound checks, I woke up and it was raining, and I was laying in my bed, and I had my computer because I had homework to turn in. And I woke up and I just said, I can't do this. And I couldn't get out of bed. I was stuck,
Mm.
and I freaked out,
Yeah.
and I start calling people because now I do things the right way. I call people, and I think, yeah, even one of the people I called was So Shock. I even called, and I needed people to talk me off the ledge, like, and tell me it's okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
That's what everyone said. They were like, I said, I just don't know if I'm ready to do this. And, everybody's like, your, mom and dad are there with you. It's going to be fine. You can do this. And I got it together. And when I saw Shanice, though, it was like a weight had lifted
Mm.
off of my shoulders. When I saw her and her daughter, Imani, like off to the side of the stage, and she's like videotaping me during sound, and then I felt better. And yeah, and then I got through it, and I was excited. And then after that one performance, I was like, yes, I'm ready to do this again. Put me on a tour, y'all. I'm like, where's my next show? I was ready. And then we got the offer to do Sherry Shepherd's show.
Oh yeah. I mean that's
Yeah.
national. Yeah. But you're
So
also doing. Go ahead.
No, that was exciting. So for me and Shanice to do that together too. So then we went to New York. It might have been a month after the Kennedy Center, and we did that together. So yeah, it was the end of the year. Like last year just became, it was full of surprises. Me reconnecting with people, me having an Instagram, which I was just like, there's no way. And to doing Kennedy Center, doing a show, reconnecting with people. And then, yeah, it's just,
And
it's been great.
Next week, Valentine's, you with Christopher Williams and El DeBarge?
That is El DeBarge, yeah, in Baton Rouge, it's El DeBarge, Glenn Jones,
Christopher Williams?
Alexander O'Neill. Christopher Williams is March 30th with Shanice and Tony Terry and Karen White.
I've interviewed all of them.
I mean, crazy, right?
Karen is my favorite. I love Karen.
I love her.
Yeah, I love Karen. She's so much energy. Tony Terry was the one who was telling me about the industry and how tough it was. And then Elle, as I said, but you had a show that was canceled due to the weather just recently as well.
That was the one that got changed to March 30th.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
she's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay.
They don't understand what those boys do when they all
play it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.